Shut up and sit down.
Welcome once again to the Shite podcast show. Mark and Ken.
What's the story?
Episode 191 of the Shite podcast show.
Yeah.
We are getting through the episodes. Do you know what? I've kind of come to terms with the 204 now. I'm no longer like gasping for air or really nervous. I imagine I know what a person who's just about to die feels like. They realise they're going to die, and they're like, they've come to the acceptance of their fate. They're like, yeah, okay, let's just get this over with.
So you've accepted the fate that 204 is not going to be great.
Yeah, I was talking to a regular listener of the podcast there, and talking about 204 and things. We even could possibly have someone to make us t-shirts for 204. Possibly that could be something that we do. And he's suggesting the t-shirts. I just think maybe what we should have done is built up, like, we were shitting all over from the very start, but maybe we should have been hiding like we were going to do something really amazing. They're going to be like, oh, this is going to be amazing. And then it's going to be like, hey, we've got this new design for the podcast, or hey, we're going to, I don't know, clap our hands. That's we just do something very tiny and go, hey, that's our thing for 204.
We were trying to get new music there for a while.
Where we even trying to get to?
Well, we were talking about it.
I think maybe we get like Michael D. Higgins or like someone to do the intro to our podcast, and then that'll be it. We'll pay someone to do our intro instead of your own telling us to shut up and sit down.
Michael D. Higgins could be doable.
I don't know if you'd actually do it. You're listening to the Shite Talk podcast show.
It'd be great.
Shut up and sit down. That was actual Michael D. Higgins. Well, that's not too bad of an impression of him, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it wasn't great either.
It was better than your Australian accent.
What? Water? That is a fucking solid Australian accent. I can't say any other word. Like, smoking a water is really just water. Well, if there is Australian people still listen to our podcast, they're like, yeah, that's an alright way of saying water.
If they still listen.
Oh, we kind of like do shit on them a lot.
Yeah, we do shit on them
I do kind of feel like we also probably piss off Russia.
But I feel like
US are holding there. We knocked them out, and they're like, "Yeah, cool, we're still listening."
I feel like the Australians though, they get it because they like to shit in themselves anyway.
Yeah, they that kind of self-deprecating humor probably resonates with them.
Yeah, they're kind of like us that way.
That is true. Irish people also like to shit on themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine maybe Russia is a little bit more uptight, and they're like, "Hey, dickheads, we're not idiots."
Russia. Russia are maybe a bit more pissed.
Yeah. In the US, they kind of roll with it. They like, I don't know if they're into self-deprecating humor. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. But they roll punches really well. They're like, "Yep, cool." Who else are we slagging? Just us again? Okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's all right. Cool. Yeah, it's like the guy who just wants to be really nice at a party.
Is there a guy that wants to be really nice at a party?
There is a guy who's just like wants to be really nice and really liked, and he's like, but so for some reason he never can get to like him. He's just like that person. You know that kind of person?
Like a kind of fucking dickhead.
No, he's not a dickhead. He's no redeemable bad qualities, but like he's just like, I don't know. He's nice and all, but that's how you go. He's nice and all, and you don't know what about him that like does make him pleasant to be around. But like he says, yeah, hey guys, good joke.
Good joke.
He's that guy. That's what America is. So I think our listenership.
If you are that guy at a party, please don't stop listening.
Yeah, please don't stop listening. You don't know you're that guy in the party. It's like, you know how everyone has that one friend that no one actually likes in the group, but they're still friends with them. And there's that joke, if you don't have that person in your group of friends, you are that person. If your group of friends, you're that person your friends feel about you.
Yeah.
It's kind of that way. you're like if you don't feel like that, somebody thinks of. I don't know if that still resonates with the really nice guy.
What? If you're at a party and there's not somebody there you hate, you're the guy that everybody hates at the party.
Yeah, probably. No, I think that's more of a rare quality of a guy who's. I don't know. There's nothing about him that's not likable, but you just don't like him.
Okay.
That's I don't know why we're breaking down countries into people and adding them to the parties. How would we like? We have like a lot of people from Belgium. Is there like we've actually solid listenership from Belgium? I wonder if there's a way of describing what Belgian people are at a party.
What Belgian people are at a party?
Yeah, I imagine what Belgian people are at a party. You know, the EU's there. It's very set and simple. Seems like
I think that it's beige.
I think they're like a quieter Germany. There goes Belgium. So they're just like enough. But I imagine they are the person that will talk to you about work at a party. That's what Belgium are. They'll bring up work, and it won't be like they're excited about their job. They'll just chit chat about everyday things about work.
I just looked up like with stereotypes about Belgium.
Yeah.
So there's actually no famous Belgian people.
Yeah, well, I'm just thinking about if we were to like get countries at a house party, if they were to give them a personality as people at a house party. I said America's the guy that no one likes, but they're really nice, and you can't really figure out why you don't like them.
They're all Smurfs.
I think Belgian person is the person who will bring up work and talk to you about a real boring conversation about work. I'd imagine England is the person that'll get really drunk and make him embarrassing himself, wake up with the fear. I don't know what Irish people would be. Like that also could be Ireland as well. They could equally be each other in that sense.
Oh, Ireland's like the one that like
I think
wakes up in the wrong house.
Yeah, I think Australia is the one that like is cracking all the jokes and like having the crack, and everyone likes. He's like the real cool person at the party. His nice accent.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Russia's
the scary one.
Yes, Russia's the ones that like, you're kind of afraid that he's going to start a fight.
Yeah, Russia's the guy that you didn't invite to the party, but he somehow heard about the party and he showed up, and everybody's too scared to tell him to leave.
Yeah, exactly. And he'll start a fight with the really nice, quiet guy that no one likes, and you're like, "Hey, you can't start a fight with him." Canada, they don't drink. I imagine Canada's a friend that doesn't drink but shows up to the party anyway, and we'll let you know that they don't drink by going, "Oh no, I'm not drinking." Driving, they shake their keys. Right. Okay. That's what Canada is. Yeah, that's if we got all the countries that listen to our podcast into a room. That's the personalities we are giving them.
If your personality hasn't been mentioned,
or your country, let us know.
And we'll come up with a stereotype for you.
Yeah, or suggesting other countries, like maybe if you do live in a country we didn't mention you, you're like, hey, I'm from Finland, or I'm from Norway, or I'm from somewhere else, Portugal, I'm from Spain. Like, I think we'd be this person at a party.
The Finnish are alcoholics, I think.
I wouldn't, like, there's probably plenty of countries there that, like, Russia would be very heavily drinkers. Ireland can't throw stones in that glass house, and England, yeah.
I know any Finnish people I've known have been heavy drinkers.
Really heavy. Maybe they came to Ireland to be more accepted into their heavy drinking. Like if you move to Ireland and your drinking is a problem to the Irish, you definitely have a problem. Yeah, it's kind of like Des Bishop has a joke. He moved to Ireland. He was an alcoholic, and he moved to Ireland. People call him a pussy because you're lightweight or whatever. You're not an alcoholic. You're a lightweight, and I think Finnish people, yeah, if you are moving to Ireland, people go, Jesus, you need to wash your drinking there now, lad. Yeah, problem.
Norwegians as well. Any Norwegian person I've known has been with a little bit of an alcoholic.
Is it just that like they can't handle the drink, or is it they drink
No,
copious
like
amounts?
they drink a lot.
Oh, I never knew that about. I've only ever known one person from Sweden, which is neither of the countries that we've mentioned.
Which is neither of the country we were discussing.
Yep. Casual racism. Also on the show, other than casual racism, let's move on to what we're actually going to be talking about. And we're going to be talking about something that has the internet like divided, and is what people are calling where you knock on a door and run away. So there's some crazy names, and we'll get through them. And I kind of did this like a slight test with a few people, and I asked them what do they call it, and it was fairly-ish similar. So I don't know if it's just this is what it's called over here. We're going to get into it later on, so I'm going to save that, and I'll finish talking about a few of the other ones. Another one, and there's going to be a lot of people who will be suffering or have tried this, or like I imagine there has to be people in our podcast that smoke and have tried to give up cigarettes. So a man has tried to give up cigarettes recently enough after smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day since he was 16, and he's found it really hard, and he think he has a way that will prevent him from smoking again. So I thought we'd talk about that and people we know that have tried to give up cigarettes. Have you ever smoked yourself?
No, it was never appealing to me.
Yeah, we were talking about this off air, and yeah, it was. It's kind of like it was kind of appealing to me as younger, but I am glad I didn't start now. But yeah, we'll get into it anyway, and we'll talk about smoking and all of that later on in the show. And we're also going to be talking about a joint birthday present that a guy got it, and it's kind of a prank. It's kind of a like, fuck you birthday present. Like, do you know what? If I got this as a birthday present, I'd be quite happy. I'd be like, oh, Jesus, this is lovely. This must have cost them. They went to some effort. That's all I'd be like. I'd be like, I think the secret to like a good birthday present is to go to some effort. Because, you know, like you might get a person a gift card. There's like zero effort in a gift card. Like, you know, one for all vouchers. It's like, oh, here's something that's not as versatile as money as a present. Here's something that like you can buy in these limited shops.
Yeah, gift cards are a bit kind of fucking stupid when you think about it.
I get them. We get them like Christmas bonuses. We get a gift card for, and I'm like, can I have cash, please? I never use this.
I can kind of understand gift cards in that situation where you're giving a lot of people shit. Yeah,
I understand that.
Like it's probably easier to just go rather than going to a fucking bank and like withdrawing a heap of money. It's probably easier to just go, oh, you're all getting gift cards.
Yeah, I can understand. I remember my my car insurance actually at the start of the pandemic gave like a gift card of 30 quid. And I was like, oh, this is nice of them. I'm never going to use it, but it's lovely. And I lost it. It was like I gave it to someone for the money that was in it, and they lost it. I don't think they gave me the money. So
I don't think they gave me the money.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I think I had arrangement that I needed something bought. I was like, here's this gift card. This is similar in value to that. Buy me that, and then they lost the gift card. I didn't get it.
Fuck's sake!
Like, well, I didn't get my 30 euros worth of whatever. Yeah, but anyway, we were talking about we only have one idiot a week, or we have 2 idiots a week, but they're kind of similar enough, and it's about TikTokers who I think TikTokers have been a great thing for our podcast, because every week we do idiots of the week, guaranteed a TikToker is going to be mentioned somewhere on our idiots of the week. They really have become fill that Donald Trump style hole that was left in our podcast quite well, because now we don't talk about like a president of a country. We're now just talking about people on TikTok, and 2 TikTokers. I don't know if it's a trend on TikTok, but they're picking up deadly animals and doing very odd things to them. Could either kill them or leave them with a very bad rash.
It's very bad rash.
Well, it can also cause like lung difficulties and poisoning and like other problems. But yeah, you get a nasty rash as well. I go to for the most severe in my eyes, so I would be like a really bad rash over like a lung disease. Yeah, so like
what kind of a rash?
Like I don't know, like not like an itchy one if you got like nettle stings or something like that, but like one that's like has boils and like causes swelling and can stop you from moving in water. Like a jellyfish sting.
Don't get into the water and you'll be fine.
Is that your? That's your rule. Like if you never want to be stung again, don't get into the water.
Yeah, don't get into the water.
I guess that's solid advice. You'll never sting. It's like how I live my life and never to be involved in a bear attack. Is just to be from Ireland and
it's just to be from Ireland.
Be from Ireland and never be in places where there are bears, and then I'll never be attacked by a bear.
Yeah, it's solid.
Yeah, that's how I live my life. Not being attacked by bears. If they eat an asshole up, this is an awful way to die.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is like
I wouldn't fancy it anyway.
No, I don't think anyone does fancy it. But I'm pretty sure there's people aren't afraid of it or aren't like they wouldn't put it down as their number one way they don't want to die.
Well, when you're from Ireland, you don't really have to worry about it.
You think that?
Well,
you think that, wouldn't you? I'm from Ireland.
You're fucking around in the zoo.
Unless you watch way too much YouTube.
Or watch way too much YouTube.
Yeah, and just have like guys going, yeah, you ever hear about this guy being eaten by a bear? I'm gonna put Joe Rogan down as my reason why I'm afraid of like that's my number one way of like I don't want to die, because I'm pretty sure he's talked about bear attacks a bit too much on his podcast. And I'm like,
God damn it, Joe!
Yeah, another reason to blame Joe Rogan.
Yeah, bastard.
Scaring the devil out of Irish people with bear attacks, even though there's no bears in Ireland.
Yeah,
it hasn't been for 1,000 years.
Hasn't ever been, I don't think.
There has. The polar bears came from Ireland. The first ever polar bear was from Ireland. There you go.
Was he really?
It was. His ancestry was a bear that was in Ireland. They all died off. Have you ever went to Clare?
Ever went to Clare?
Yeah. There's like Alleyway Caves. They found like bear bones. I'm pretty sure like the cave's symbol is a bear. For that reason.
That doesn't mean that though.
But like you do the tour, they talk about the tights and the mites, and they talk about like the
tights go down, mites go up.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone has been through that tour. Yeah, and they talk about like things they found there. And it's like skeleton of like bears when they used to live here. Yeah, and the first polar bear, because of that ice age, would have been from Ireland.
There you go.
There you go. Google it.
There you go.
We can't because our internet's down, but Google it yourselves. So yeah, that's it. We'll get on to stop talking about bears and start talking about something that's kind of divided the internet in a very odd way. Every now and again, something comes along and it's something very mundane, and someone realizes that everyone has a different opinion on this, and it will divide a room. I remember once I was talking about a fry, and if beans go on a fry, and I thought this was just like casually, like nobody will really give a fuck about this, and oh my god, the heated debate that actually ensued over whether beans go on a fry or whether they didn't.
That's the difference between a full Irish and a full English.
See, that's what I said. I said beans on a fry is an English thing to do, and they did not like that. And he said,
yeah, but it is.
It is. I was like, that's literally the difference between
a
full Irish and full English, and that's why I'll never take the Queen's beans. You can give me tomatoes, you can give me mushrooms, you can give me black pudding, white pudding, but I will never take the Queen's beans.
The Queen's beans.
And like seriously, if you sit down, if you have like 8 people around the table and you say, "Oh, do you put beans beans should not go on a fry, and watch the room fall into disarray.
Did you start this row with your family or with your friends?
Live on the radio.
Live on the radio. Good man, Mark.
Yeah, because we never got texters in, but we got texters in for this. People were texting in over, and then whoever was doing the podcast or the radio show with me also was like, we were like, for good, and then we said, oh, okay, we'll leave this, and then we came back to it because someone texted about it, and then it started again, and then we had a Lotto on the show, and your one came in and talked a little bit. Lotto was coming in talking about it as well, and I was like, okay, this is obviously a thing. And then the person who ran the radio station came in after the show, after the radio show, and was talking about it, and he was like, no, they definitely should go on a bit. And I was like, oh, fair enough. You're the boss. You're literally the boss. I'll have to agree with you. But yeah, I don't, because I always given out about, I don't really understand how in Ireland people ask you if you want beans on a fry, because of course you don't, you're Irish. And he's like, what? Beans on a fry is lovely. And I go, but it's an English thing. Like, if you were a full Irish, you shouldn't come with beans. And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, I put beans on my fry the whole time. Like,
he takes the Queen's beans.
He takes the Queen's beans. And a true Irishman will never take the Queen's beans. Anyway, this is not about the Queen's beans or whether or not we should take them or not.
We need a t-shirt that says Queen's beans.
And like an X going through. No, the Queen's beans, yeah. 204. Rory, get on that, please.
Queen beans, man.
Yeah, that could be our new. We could be like the hairy baby of t-shirt creations. We just come up with like slogans.
Yeah, about the Queen's beans.
I'm pretty sure that's what hairy baby is. Like that is their market. Is like slogans on t-shirts. Anyway, this one wasn't about the Queen's beans. This was about something where it's a prank that I'm pretty sure everybody has done as a kid. Where you run up, knock on someone's door, and run away and hide, but you want to get to a place where you can see them come out and look like they don't know. Oh, what has happened? Who was at my door? Why is there no one here? And you kind of giggle to yourself, and you run away to someone else. Have you ever done this?
I don't think I've ever done it. No.
What?
Well, you see, I didn't grow up in an estate.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I can understand. If you grew up like if you grew up where you have to walk a good 5 minutes to your neighbour, like
I grew up in the middle of nowhere, like so
couldn't really get it done. We used to do it the whole time, and like it's so interesting to see the different people's reactions, because some people are like open the door and go, oh, no one's there, all right, and then some people used to try to hunt us down. They used to go looking for us. They're like, I know it was those bastards knocking on the door. And we'd be hiding under cars going, oh shit, this went too far. We're in so much shit. Like, hoping they don't see us. Anyway,
like, I'd probably go out and give out to kids if they did that.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Why?
It means that I have to fucking get up, bottom me hole going to the door.
Yeah.
And then they're there going, and then I go, fuck you, you little bastard.
It actually recently happened to me, where I was the Nick. Oh well, okay, I call it knick-knack, but okay, I was knick-knacky of this.
Knick-knacker.
And while I was playing the PlayStation, and it's beside my window at the front garden. There's these kids. They were standing right outside the driveway, and they were looking in kind of sheepishly. And I was like, oh, maybe they lost a cat. Maybe they're looking for the ball, and they don't know if they can go to the garden to get the ball. And they're like, and then one went in halfway, and they were kind of looking to the side. I thought one went around the back. You kind of went out of line of vision. I was playing PlayStation, so I wasn't really paying too much attention. I was just kind of keeping an eye on them. And then I was like, all right, fair enough. Wonder where he went off to. And then next all I heard, and they were only about 5 or 6. They weren't that old. Next all I heard, like, a knock on the door. I was like, I got up, And it's like, I could see them sprinting away. I was like, oh, that's how this feels. Now I know. Sat back down and got, oh God. I'm glad people still do this. I was like, oh Jesus, well, nice this tradition has kept alive.
Yeah, like I wouldn't go mad at it, but I'd be like, fuck off.
See, the thing is, as of a previous knick-knacker, I know if you react, oh my God, we're going to do this again. Because I know the guy that used to come out looking for us, as soon as he went back in, as soon as he closed the door, we'd wait 5 minutes. Let him drop his guard again, and we knock on the door again. So if you react, they're just going to wreck your head because they've got a reaction out of you. So like the worst thing is you can go out and say to them, because you can't physically hit kids. So
kids around here know better though. I've had words with kids around here before.
Yeah, I like. One of them is going to get ballsy and keep doing it to you, or else egg your house when you're older. They'll remember you. Because we had the narky neighbour like that, and her house got like toilet rolled a good few times. Yeah,
like not a narky neighbour, just like when the kids are like bullying kids, I go out and tell them to fuck off.
Yeah. Anyway, I know you're not a former knick-knacker, but what was that the name that you gave it? Was it called a knick-knack?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, like I call it a knick-knack. Another person I was talking to, one of the lads called it a knick-knock, which is okay, similar enough dialects. So like, and I think pretty much all of them call it like. We're from 3 reasonably different parts of Ireland. Well, like Dublin and Kildare, and we all call it the same thing. And yeah. This was done, I think it was done by an English person. It was put up on Twitter and asked, when you are younger, what did you call when you knocked on someone's door and ran away? And some of the names were completely like, okay, it differed between me and my friends as knick-knock, knick-knack. Okay, fair enough. You can understand that they're pretty much similar things. But they were just so different. And no one could agree, really, on what they called knocking on the door and run away. One person called it a knock-a-door run, which, okay, it's just basically explained the action of knocking on the door, but did it like Yoda. And then another person called it knock down ginger.
Knock down ginger?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's why you find a local ginger on your road, knock it down in your car, surely.
What the fuck is knockdown ginger?
That is what we call a knick-knack. And I like it. I don't know where. Obviously, someone said knockdown ginger. Was just it has no resemblance to the action taken.
That's a strange one.
Another one was called a chappie. Once again, don't know. And I imagine this is a newer name. I imagine the person who created this name had just recently watched Dodgeball, because they called it Ding Dang Ditch, and like I said, they obviously seen Dodgeball, whereas there's Dip Dodge Duck, and they're like, no. And another name for it was called Thunder and Lightning, and the idea was you ring the door like thunder and you run away like lightning, and like fair enough. And then in County Durham, they called it Knocky Hidey-O.
Knocky Hidey-O.
Yeah. And Sunderland have a very similar name because they call it Knocky Nine Doors.
Knocky Nine Doors.
Yeah, it was another name for it. It was they like in fairness, like if we put ours up there, I'm pretty sure the English people would be like, "What the fuck is a knick-knack?" Knick-knack's like a toy in a sweets, isn't it? Or knick-knacks. I think they used to be cars, weren't they?
I don't know. Like I know our ones call knick-knacks like ornaments.
Yeah, exactly. And they'd be like, "That's a fucking ornament, you take. It's not knocking on the door." And we'd be like, "Okay, knick-knock then," because like a
knick-knock. Nick Knock is probably where Nick Knack came from.
Yeah, exactly. And then someone just heard their friend wrong. Called it Nick Knack instead of Nick Knock.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, I'm like, if we said it to them, they'd be like, Nick Knock? Because like, a Nick is like a prank. And then knock.
Is it?
I think so. Oh, really wish we had Google back again. We'd be like, I think there is some relations to doing a prank and nicking something. I think so. I'm not too sure. I remember the other thing that used to divide people, and this was very local, like very localized thing that people call this, and that's like the French kiss. Because people call the French kiss, like, if you went slightly up the country, people call it different. The people like where I was from, or even
did anybody ever call it a French kiss?
I think that's the like the universal name. So like, if you were describing a French kiss, because I think Americans call it a French kiss. So like, obviously because of culture, American culture is over here. Quite a lot of people know what you're on about.
And did you know in France it's called an American kiss?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's actually true.
That's actually true, yeah.
Yeah. What did you call it when you were a kid?
It depended.
All right.
There was like 2 names for it.
Yeah, go on.
So like, it was either called meeting someone.
Yeah, that's what we called it.
Or feeking someone.
Feeking.
Yeah, because where I went to school, they, for some weird reason, they use a lot of like traveler words for things.
Yeah, because you're in Offaly.
No, not in Offaly. No, I went to school in Kildare.
Oh, fair enough.
Like, but the part, like, where I went to secondary school, I'm not going to say where it is.
Honest,
where I went to secondary school, they use a lot of like traveler words for things. Like they say "fiend" for a man and "bior" for like a woman.
That's not a traveler thing, though. That is
a traveler thing. That is 100% a traveler thing.
No, but that I know people. I know loads of people in Kildare that use fiend.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. That's where it comes from. It actually comes from travelers.
All right, fair enough. But like, yeah, I know loads of people around Kildare that use fiend or fiend.
Yeah,
or NPR.
That comes from travelers.
And I'm pretty sure like a lot of people even in Tipperary will also use it.
I only know it comes from travelers because I had years ago. My dad did this thing with what's that travelers' rights group? I can't remember what it's called.
Would I know that? Jesus.
He did some yoke with them, and they gave him a traveler to English dictionary.
Oh, really? And
yeah,
was in it, was it?
Yeah, like fiend, bior, feek, just like loads of shit.
Yeah,
and I was like, all these fucking things are things that people in school say.
Yeah, I know all these words. Yeah, so it is kind of weird because like I remember a lot of people would call it a snog in parts of Dublin.
Oh, that's very English. That's because Dublin's all West Brits.
Yeah, well, like, yeah, exactly. And that's the more common name in England. But yeah, it was just like it was something very colloquially. And if you go like slightly up the country, they will not know what you're talking about if you use the word like meat or snog. Well, they will. Snog is kind of also universal, but like, yeah. So like, I also thought that this knick-knack hideo or knocky nine doors, like if someone said that to us, we'd be like, what the fuck are you on about? Knocky
nine doors.
Knocky nine doors. And yeah, it was just like, it caused literally Twitter to melt down. Well, Twitter melts down most days of the week, but that last week, that was what caused Twitter to get into a huge row with people. It was like,
knocky nine doors
was what you call knickknacks.
Like, who the fuck calls a knocky nine doors?
Sunderland, people from Sunderland. Yeah, we'll call them knocky nine doors. And then County Durham, and I kind of feel like that's in England as well. I think it's similar enough. It's called Knocky Hideo. Knocky Hideo is a worse name than Knocky Nine Doors. Knocky Nine Doors I can nearly get behind.
No, Knocky Hideo I can get behind.
Yeah.
Knocky Nine Doors makes no sense. Like Knocky Hideo, okay, because you're knocking and then you're hiding.
Yeah, and
Knocky Nine Doors. Like, what the fuck are you doing, Knocky Nine Doors?
Because your idea is to get to 9 doors. Maybe you have to prank 9. Like in there, they did 9 houses. They knick-knacked 9 houses. And they call it Knocky 9 doors. This is a different rule set.
Oh,
Whereas knick-knack is like freestyle. You can just do it at any house any number of times.
and Nucky Hideaway, you can just do as many times as you want as well, though.
Yeah. Now, the next thing we're going to be talking about is something that we're probably luckily we didn't start, and that is smoking. But we've probably known a lot of people that have started smoking and that tried it and had awful trouble trying to stop it. Have you heard any really weird attempts?
What, to stop smoking?
Yeah.
No, not really.
I have two sisters, and they smoked for years, and they spent a good 3 years trying to quit how to smoke. They did everything. They got hypnotized. One of them got hypnotized. Another one, and same one was like, she smoked. Went out the back with her friend, smoked an entire packet of cigarettes all at once, just chain smoked them to the very end. Got sick. Had to watch a video and did all these steps, and it was meant to stop people from smoking. And she said felt violently ill after. And she's like basically the idea is like turn yourself off ever smoking. That like if you smoke an entire packet again and you watch all these videos, that you're gonna be so repulsed by the idea of smoking that you'll never smoke again. And she got a good week of not smoking before she went back. Now, I don't know what exactly she did to actually stop smoking now, but because I know all the previous attempts, the hypnotizing and the chain smoking one didn't. But she doesn't smoke anymore. And then another one went to Thailand and did this Buddhist thing. And it's like, they made her drink some tea, and they made her fast. And I don't know, she was just like this Buddhist temple in Thailand. And she said like, this like black stuff started coming out from her pores and all, and she like felt awful. She felt really sick through the whole thing, but like after, she never smoked again. So
strange.
Yeah, so like it worked for her. That like whatever treatment worked for her, and like fair enough. But like people can spend years trying to smoke, and one man decided he's never going to smoke. He didn't trust himself to have enough willpower to stop smoking. So what he did is he stuck a cage on his head so that he couldn't put a cigarette physically into his mouth.
As you do.
Yeah, his name is Ibrahim Yukul, and he's from Turkey. Couldn't pronounce the area of Turkey, but so he's just from Turkey. And he had been smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day ever since he was a child. 16 years old.
That's a lot to be smoking like as a fucking 16-year-old.
Yeah, exactly. So like he like 2 packs a day. Like so there's 20 cigarettes in like a pack. Like that's 40 cigarettes a day. You're getting through.
Yeah, like that's a bit excessive.
Yeah, so he kind of like what pushed him to stop smoking was his dad died of lung cancer, and he's kind of like, all right, I've kids, like he's obviously was the same smoking since he was a child, and probably smoking a similar amount. So he's like, that's probably going to be me if I keep smoking. So he stopped. So he had tried previous other things. So he was kind of inspired by a motorcycle helmet.
To put a bird cage in his head.
Yeah, as in a way of stopping it. And the helmet was designed like a bird cage, and it was used 30 feet of copper wire that made it into like a helmet-shaped thing. And he put it on his head, and he went one step further. So not only was he put a cage on his head, walked around like all day. I don't know where he worked at, but he went to work with this cage on his head. His wife and children only had a key to this cage, so he locked the cage shut, and he wasn't able to get it off his head. He wants to make it the wires thin so he can't actually put a cigarette in there. So like getting food in was really, really hard. Like his wife said, he could probably get a cracker in there, maybe shove a straw so he could drink water, but that'd be about it. Like they won't be able to really get any sort of food in there.
Would it not have been an idea to take it off for meals?
Well, if you're at work, like you're not going to be able to go home for lunch.
Like, were people at work not thinking this lad's a fucking weirdo?
Probably. Yeah, I imagine like if I was at work and some lad's like comes into work with a cage on his head and was like trying to quit smoking, I was like, you realise you can get patches.
I'd kind of think this lad's after getting like fucking kidnapped by some cunt that's watched too many Saw movies.
Just imagine going to work, hearing this clink coming in the door, and you're like, what the fuck?
What the fuck's going on with this?
Why'd you have a fucking bird cage on your head? And he's like, I'm stopping smoking. And you're like, have you heard of vaping? Have you
heard of being normal?
Here is the patch. Put this on your arm. But like it is very well crafted design. Like he made it himself. He obviously works with metal because I don't know if he just found a bird cage, reshaped it. But if you got 30 feet of copper wire and put all the slits in, he did a very nice job.
Are you going to buy one yourself?
If I ever start smoking, I probably would. We were talking like previous. Were you ever tempted? You said you weren't ever tempted to start smoking. I remember there's probably was a time when I was 16, maybe 17, where I was like, oh, I wouldn't. It seems like I was quite tempted to start smoking because it seemed like a very sociable thing to do. Like people would be outside the bus having a cigarette before you got on chatting. There'd be like people around the boiler, behind the boiler, like, and it'd be a way to meet people, to chat to people, and it is a very sociable thing, smoking. Like even
I never. My nanny, sure, she still smokes, but like I always just remember like the house smelling like smoke and stuff. I never fucking liked smoking.
Yeah, see, that's the other thing. I never liked the smell of smoke either. my two nanas smoked, and one of their houses stunk of smoke. Like a lot of her kids smoke, so like, and you leave her house and your clothes smell like smoke, but your farts would also smell like smoke.
Your farts would smell like smoke.
Yeah. Like if you farted after being in her house, you go, "Oh, that's daily nana scent." Yeah, not like cigarette. Not like
eating cigarettes.
No, not cigarette, but like that smell of someone's house. It smells like cigarettes. It's like a stale smell of cigarettes. It smell like that. It wouldn't smell like a freshly lit cigarette. If you get me. So like, and that never appealed. That's probably why I was like, probably not. It's probably not for me. But yeah, it is a very sociable thing. Like even if you're going to a pub, like a lot of places where you have to go to like be able to sit down or maybe like talk to people because it's a little bit quieter. It's like smoking areas. And like, yeah, it's a way like of getting chatting to people. It's like, oh, do you have a lighter? Or, do you have a cigarette? Or you might, oh, can I like, I'm just having a cigarette? Can I just put my drink down there? And you start chatting to people. So there is that social element of smoking.
I always hate going to the smoking area because it's always fucking outside.
Yeah, I used to.
And being Ireland, it's always fucking raining.
Well, a lot of them will have heaters, but yeah, obviously if it's raining, it's not great. But like that's most of the time where I used to go out. If we went out to a bar or anything like that, we'd probably most of the time end up in the smoking area just because like it's quieter. You can actually have a conversation, and I used to carry a lighter around with me.
People pleaser, Mark. You're a people
pleaser, and I never smoked. As I was like, and people were like, "Oh, do you have a light?" And I was like, "Yeah, here." They're like, "Oh, do you smoke yourself?" And I'm like, "No." They're like, "Why do you have a lighter?" Like the good-looking girls like you, of course.
I know a guy who he started working in Dolphin's barn.
Yeah.
Right, and he does smoke, but he went outside and. He went out with another girl for a smoke break, and this person walking by said to him, "Have you got a light?" Now, he had borrowed a lighter off the other girl that was in the smoking area who had since gone back inside, and he said to this person walking by, no, I don't have a lighter, sorry. And they're like, the next time I ask you for a lighter, if you say no, I'm going to stab you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Fucking Dolphins barn, man.
I know it was like a passerby.
Yeah, just somebody walking by, like.
All right, and he had her lighter, did he?
He had, like, he went out with another girl
Yeah.
who, like, worked in the same place, but she had gone back in.
Oh, so he got a lighter off her. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. And then this person walking by, next time I ask you for a lighter, if you don't have one, I'm going to stab you.
I was like, why don't you stab me this time? Did you just forget your knife, you dick? Probably not the best way. Probably not their best reaction.
Probably not the best way to not get stabbed.
Oh, well, they're still not getting a light. Yeah, I also couldn't get, like you were saying before we went on there, you can't really understand why people start smoking now. Like, how is it still a thing?
Yeah.
And yeah, because there is like a whole load of information out there. Like, first of all, you stick a smoke. Second of all, like, yellows your teeth. There's all the health negatives that come with it, and then there's the cost of cigarettes. Like, it does seem like an odd thing, like, for people to do now. And I can kind of see, if you're around people who smoke, a lot of that won't wash with you. You kind of go, oh, well, my nanny smokes, she's 85. And you're like, she's grand, so, like, I'll be all right, because she's my nanny. And so you don't really think it will either have a bad effect on you, or, like, it won't be you. But, like, I don't understand people who start vaping. Like, they had never smoked before in their life, and they start vaping.
Yeah, I really don't understand that. Like, I don't understand how a 16-year-old starts vaping.
Yeah, you're like, you don't even know how to get vapes.
Yeah, like, how can you get a vape? Like, you have to be over 18. They're the exact same cigarettes. Same rules apply. You have to be over 18 to buy a vape.
Yeah.
So, like, I can understand, because I know friends in school and stuff used to rob cigarettes off their parents.
Yeah.
Where are you getting your vape from?
Yeah, well, I know, because, like, my sisters both smoked when they were, like, under 18, and none of my parents smoked, so they used to either, people who they went out drinking with, either would buy them, whoever bought them alcohol, would also buy them cigarettes as well, or people who knew a person over the age of 18 or had fake ID would buy vapes or buy cigarettes. So imagine it's the same way how people get drink and cigarettes as kids off people who are, like, adults who will buy it for them.
Like, vapes are a lot more expensive.
Yeah, vapes are, and, like,
this is my next issue.
Yeah, I imagine, like, if your kid is going to start smoking, they're going to start smoking. So maybe as a parent, you go, okay, I'll buy you a vape, or you'll buy a vape for yourself. You'll continue this habit yourself, but it's like at your own risk, to your own, like you're gonna pay for this. You're gonna, like, I'm not giving you money for this. Like, if you want to go buy cigarettes, you're gonna have to go buy cigarettes. And, like,
anybody I know that smoked as a kid, like, their parents, if their parents caught them smoking, even if their parents smoked, their parents used to go mental.
Yeah, but, like, they still got cigarettes often. So, like, I think in those kind of situations, either clamping down or punishing them for it, like, you're never solving the issue. Like, that's never worked. I think the better way is to go, like, talk to them as a person, and be like, this is a bad decision to do. Like, you shouldn't smoke. Here's all the negatives associated with smoking. I smoke because I'm addicted to this. It's not that I think it's morally right. I wish I never started, but, like, I physically can't stop. And I guarantee if you get to my age, you're going to feel the exact same way. Your teeth are going to be, you stink, you have chances of getting cancer, you have all these other negative things, and it's going to cost you a small fortune. You could buy a house with the amount of money you're going to put into cigarettes. And if you, like, just talk to them as a person, I go, look, you can, if you want to start smoking, go ahead, but, like, you're an idiot if you do, and, like, you're gonna have to pay for it yourself. I'm not gonna be the one buying cigarettes. Pay for them out of your own pocket. But like, look, I'm not gonna stop you either. It's gonna be your own decision here. I think that's a more of a sensible way of doing it.
I think it's more sensible to just kick their fucking head in every time you find them smoking.
two different schools of talking. I'm like, hey man, you shouldn't smoke. Like, okay, you can
smoke the bad, okay?
Okay, yeah, just do it outside the house, okay? I don't want my house smell like smoking. Ken's like, I will beat you to a fucking pulp if I see a cigarette in this house. I will end you.
Yeah, like, I'll just fucking kill you.
I will crucify you. You hear me?
I brought you into this world and I'll take you the fuck back out of it.
Yeah, and they're still going to smoke.
Or even better, one that would be more disappointed for the child would be to say, your mother brought you into this world, but I'll take you back out of it.
Yeah, but they're still going to smoke and they're still going to like go behind your back and they're just going to do more.
Yeah, but they're going to have a lot more fucking injuries.
You're going to actually explain the black eye to the school as well.
Yeah, you're going to. It's fine.
Yeah. So that's our parental advice. That's two completely different like.
Good thought on that.
Yeah, completely different thought on how to stop your kid from smoking. I say let them smoke and just try to convince them. Ken says beat the shit out of them until they like piss blood and threaten them that you'll end their life.
Yeah, they might get taken away by social services. Then it's somebody else's problem.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but anyway, back to your man. There isn't really any if that actually did stop him from smoking, but. His wife wasn't too against was against it at first, but she's like, he's tried other things and failed, and I don't want him to get lung cancer. So fair enough. She's just agreed to go along with it, and that's basically your man's story there. Yeah. But if you have actually, I should say to the listeners, if you have any odd ways you've tried to stop smoking, or maybe you have a piece of advice for people, you can get in touch with us on social media at Shite Talk Show on Facebook and Twitter, and Shite Talk Podcast Show on Instagram, and at Shite Talk. No, Gmail, no one sends us emails. Not giving it to you. I'm not giving it to you, so you're not getting it now because like you haven't contacted me yet.
You bastards.
Yeah. So like, I'm gonna talk about a guy who had a beautiful prank on his friend. If I got this as
the one that you're actually jealous of.
I don't know if I'm jealous of it, but I think if someone had done this for a birthday present to me, I'd be like, oh my god, they put a lot of thought and effort into this present. I'd be like, oh, that's pretty cool. I'm going to hang on to this. It might be a bit odd once you hear what it is. It's a 7-foot steel penis that they made for their friend as a kind of a bit of a like, fuck you, happy birthday present.
Yeah, happy birthday, cunt.
What would you think if you got a 7-foot penis as a birthday present?
I'd probably think, what the fuck am I going to do with this? Why the fuck do I have this? And why am I keeping it?
Yeah, it was basically a surprise gift for one of the guy's friend who probably had a pretty big birthday come up, and he got his friend an engraved 7-foot steel penis with very, very specific requests to the people who were making said 7-foot steel penis. So he got this professionally made, and because of like the pandemic, obviously the company wasn't at a whole lot, didn't have a huge lot of orders, and also thought it would be really, really funny of a job to give the lads to make a 7-foot steel penis. So they agreed to it, and they agreed to all the requests as well. So a few of the requests obviously had to be 7 foot tall, had to be self-standing was another request that the prankster had ordered it, so like couldn't just fall over. It also had to be thick enough to make it difficult to get rid of. The penis had to be welded together so it couldn't be ripped apart. So you want to make it like pretty much impossible for the intended recipient to just break it down and throw it out piece by piece.
As you would.
Yeah, as you would. You put a lot of thought and effort into it. It was also requested that it be engraved with a happy birthday message, and it has to be galvanized so that it could be stood outside someone's house as a possible feature. And I think it would make a nice feature in your back garden as a water fountain. It'd definitely be a conversation starter if you're having a dinner party. If your parents maybe coming over to your house, you probably have to explain it to them. But like, I think a 7 foot long, 7 foot tall penis that was also a water fountain and create a little pond. Like, it'd be kind of a funny present, but like, it did put a lot of thought and effort. I think the icing on the cock and balls, I got this from the article, by the way, was he asked it to be wrapped with enough cellophane to make it really, really hard and awkward to either open, and then also that the person who, the intended recipient, would have a lot of mess to get rid of. And the people who made Giant Penis had to deliver it, make it and deliver it themselves. But he said be as discreet as possible, deliver it outside their house, and then go away. Don't knock on the door, just leave it there and go. So they did. They went in the early hours in the morning. They dropped the giant penis off in a cellophane wrap outside the house and just left it there behind the van. And I'll share the article on our Facebook page. But so there's a video for CCTV footage of your man's them dropping off the penis, and then your man's reaction to find the penis in his driveway. And he's kind of like me. He was delighted with it. His girlfriend also seemed to find the funny side of it too.
He was happy out.
He was fucking happy out. Yeah, he dragged it out from underneath the van. He's like trying to bring it into his house. He couldn't lift it because obviously 7 foot tall. It's probably heavy enough, and so he ended up trying to drag it behind. His girlfriend's like taking a photo of the penis wrapped in the bag and stuff.
What's his plan to do with it?
It didn't say. Oddly enough. But I imagine maybe just stick in the garden, maybe like have it at the birthday party. Like, I don't know if he has kids or not. I imagine that he doesn't, because it'd be a bit odd. Like, I guess you could just take funny photos of it, like sit on it with a cowboy hat. Have it like as a statue, like have it like a build. What do you call that thing? It's like a platform. Then you put something on top of it. A shrine. Could build a shrine to the penis.
Penis shrine.
A penis shrine that had like outdoor lights that come on at night that light the way up to the giant penis. You could like put like a light on top of the penis. Lights it up at night.
Like a fucking lighthouse.
Like a lighthouse.
Put it in the middle of a pond.
Yeah, exactly. Have like floating candles. Just jealous at this stage.
Yeah.
Have you ever done any like joke presents?
No, not really. Nothing that I can kind of think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, no, I haven't done any kind of like fuck you presents. It'd be kind of a few 30ths coming up, so I might do something funny for one of their 30ths.
Yeah, like there's only so much you can really do.
Yeah, I'm not going to really invest in a like 7 foot penis.
Like, cause you don't want to kind of do something dickheady either.
Yeah, no, you want something that like they'll find a funny side of it. That is kind of like,
because a lot of pranks can be taken either way.
Yeah, like a lot of the instructions was like he wanted this like to be really hard to carry and clean. He wanted like it be really slick, so like he couldn't lift it up either, and just make it as awkward as possible. Like the idea of this present was to be as awkward as possible, but it wasn't solid. It wasn't solid steel. It was hollow on the inside, so it was movable. Like it was just awkward to pick up and carry, but you could drag it quite easily. So like it wasn't too bad. Yeah. So I just thought, what?
I wonder though, like what makes you think this is what I'm going to get him for his birthday?
Men love penises. Men love drawn penises. They love seeing drawn penises. It's like a
Yeah,
weird.
you were gonna say they love seeing penises.
They love seeing drawn penises. No, it wasn't. But like they have an obsession. Men have an obsession with dicks. A weird obsession with dicks. And yeah, I just think you ever see Superbad where your man just have his whole entire scrapbook's just different drawn penises.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like they love making penis jokes. So this is kind of like
The ultimate penis joke.
yeah, exactly. But you might have grown up drawing a lot of penises in school, or it might be a thing. Like there was a guy I was going to do a story about. He was going around New Zealand and he was drawing penises on poles in order to bring it to his local county council's like attention that like the roads need to be fixed. And I was like just drawing a lot of penises around the place.
Have you seen American Vandal?
Yeah.
That's kind of based around that idea.
I was actually convinced that was a real documentary. It was really well done, and yeah, I remember I went into training. I think it was around the second one came out, so it was a good year after watching the first one. He goes, "Oh yeah, that was a piss take." Someone was pointed out to me, and I was like, "Are you sure?" He's like, "Yeah."
Yeah, I remember. Like a lot of people thought that was real when it came out.
Yeah, I watched. Discovery did the same thing with a documentary on mermaids. I know, like if you, I'm not gonna say if you, but it's another documentary that I seen that I actually thought was real because like they'd never done nothing before, and it wasn't a piss. It wasn't like you couldn't directly tell it was a piss take, and they had like all this footage of like fishermen look like amateur footage of fishermen out fishing, and then a mermaid jumping into the boat. I wonder if it's on. Oh no, that's not Geo. As I said, I wonder if it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah, what's it called? Discovery Plus.
Oh, is there online scene?
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. Like if you haven't seen the documentary about the mermaids, like it's very well done, but obviously it's a fake documentary. It was like the War of the Worlds. I think it was kind of playing homage to War of the Worlds, where the radio show where they're talking about aliens invading, and then people in England thought it was real because it was on BBC One. Because it was hilarious. But yeah, I don't know how we got into that from talking about
whatever we were talking about.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like it's now time for Idiots of the Week anyway. Really need to get on to finish this show because we're losing brain capacity as we speak, and which is kind of irrelevant for our Idiots of the Week because this is part of the show where we talk about people doing dumb things, and it's for idiots, and it's created by idiots. And obviously, people doing dumb things, and I'm really struggling here to talk. I see you go over the hour and it fucks you up. You fall apart, and there seems to be like a craze. I don't know if it's just like people on TikTok generally do dumb things for attention, or if this is a weird trend. Like you remember people putting dishwasher tablets into their mouth and nearly dying. I don't know if this is kind of something like this. But both these guys were unannounced how dangerous what they were doing was. But the first guy is an idiot because it's like common sense. So you at least could end up with a nasty sting. So a TikToker picked up what he thought was a jellyfish, but not realizing that it was a very, very dangerous creature called the Portuguese man o' war. Now, I don't know if this guy is from Portugal or not. I'm claiming that he is Portuguese. He kind of have a Portuguese accent, but he did TikTok video in English. So you can take what you want from there.
He might have done it in English though, just to get more views.
Yeah, that's why I'm calling him. His name is Alexa, and I apologize for anybody who has an Alexa. and I just said Alexa. He's got
Alexa.
Alexa,
Alexa.
read 2. Alexa, read 2. And he has 1 million followers on on TikTok, and he found what he, like I said, like he thought was a jellyfish, and started prodding it, and he picked it up. He was like, "Oh, what a pretty jellyfish!" Started licking the jellyfish. Like the color of the jellyfish, it looks like, you know, fairy liquid when it makes a bubble in water.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a vibrant color. It kind of looks like that, and has strings, and it's very closely related to an actual jellyfish. Now he describes himself. This is Alexa. He's described himself as.
Who did? Alexa did.
Alexa did. Yeah, he's described himself as a CEO of bug eating.
Bulk eating?
Yeah, bug eating.
Oh, bug eating. Okay.
Yeah, Alexa likes bug eating, and he's a CEO of bug eating. So when he came,
whatever that is.
Yeah, so when he came across this jellyfish, he couldn't help but put it in his mouth, clearly, not realizing. Well, first of all, like a jellyfish alone, jellyfish sting is fucking nasty enough. Like, to pick one up, you're probably lucky enough you didn't get stung, but then to like lick it yourself, like you're like an ordinary jellyfish, that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
But
like,
yeah, go on.
I don't know why you would even think that's a good idea.
Yeah, but
did he know it was a jellyfish?
Yeah, well, it isn't actually a jellyfish, Ken. But yeah, what he put up and licked wasn't in fact a jellyfish. It was a Portuguese man-o'-war, and it was one of the most dangerous creatures in the oceans. So basically, I think there's like 10,000 people get stung from this around the world every year, and with most of it not being deadly. So it's like, I don't think it's one of the most deadly animals. Obviously, I haven't met a shark before. Most people end up with could end up with swelling and nasty rashes around their arms. Some people end up with lung problems from stings. Whatever effects it have on the body, whatever the venom does, could end up causing some form of lung disease. And yeah, it's just generally not nice to get it done, to put it in your mouth or to get stung by one of these things. And licking it was pretty stupid.
Yeah, really fucking stupid.
Yeah, there was even another TikToker broke down what the fish was and basically why it wasn't a jellyfish and how it is closely related to and all the harmful things that can happen in terms of doing it. So that's pretty bad. Licking, I think an ordinary person licking a jellyfish would have ended up on it this week. But the fact that it was a Portuguese man-o'-war jellyfish, which is obviously that little bit more dangerous, was incredibly dumb.
Did he end up in hospital? I'm assuming he did.
Do you know what? I'm going to blame bad reporting on this story because there wasn't any follow-ups and I have no idea what happened to him.
So he could be dead.
Could be dead. Yes, let's hope for his sake he isn't. And then another TikToker did some other similar. He picked up a blue-ringed octopus. Thinking,
as you do.
Yeah, now a blue ring octopus is described as being obviously blue, small, and very, very cute. But it also
deadly.
Has enough venom to kill 26 adult humans in about a minute. So
sure. Why wouldn't you want to pick it up?
I don't know, once again, if these people are going out looking for highly poisonous animals, being oh, look what I found, and hoping someone watch the video and goes, Jesus Christ, that is a hugely venomous animal. Why are you picking it up? And they're like, oh, I don't know. And then it causes controversy. They're on idiots all week for picking up deadly animals that they didn't know about. There's articles being written about them doing that thing. So it is a kind of a publicity for them doing this kind of thing. So I don't know if this is a tactical ploy by TikTokers to do this kind of thing.
I blame Bear Grylls.
Well, I don't know how easily found this kind of octopus is, I don't know if you have to go to a certain beach, or maybe he lives near the area, or maybe just how happened one just washes up on a beach near where these people live, or same with the jellyfish. I don't know how common these are. I imagine if you live in Portugal, maybe they're very common.
Yeah, but who knows?
But at least now we have our very first, potentially, Portuguese idiot of the week.
Portugoose.
Which is a brilliant pun.
Yeah. I only know that one because I used to work with a Portuguese guy who used to call him Portugoose.
Portugoose was a bit of a tick.
He used to get really take over.
Oh, he got really angry over him calling Portugoose?
Yeah, apparently that's what people call them.
Oh.
Probably some sort of a derogatory term, but I think it's just like, when you're being a silly goose.
When you're being a silly goose, which is also great terminology. You're being a bit of a silly goose.
Yeah, don't be a goose.
There could be loads of other ones that we could use for, like, span and gobshite. It's a bit like a stretch.
Gobshite. Oh, that's a good one.
Moron or Moronalia or Mongolia.
What?
I'm trying to
Mongolia?
combine it. I'm kind of trying to combine Mongolia and moron.
You could just say Mongolia because you're being a Mong.
No, I don't think that really helps.
It does.
If you go on our Instagram page and scroll a good bit down, we have like other countries in Europe, what they call Brexit. They're exiting Europe's. There's a lot of great puns there. But right now we've run out of time, so our pun game is over. And for more puns, go on to our Shite Talk Instagram page. But we'll be back next week with more shite, more talk,
more puns.
Maybe more puns on our 192nd show.
Dun dun dun.
Talk to you then.
Look.
Shut up and sit down.